Okay.
Is
Actually,
everything clear? Can you see me clearly?
yeah, yeah. What about me?
Yeah, I can see you clearly.
Actually, the thing is, I just wanted to discuss with you about these things. Then I just thought, why don't we just document this so that it would be helpful for other people as well? Yeah.
For to document also, it's helpful for me also because since this is my first podcast, so I can talk more and understand how podcast works and things like that.
Okay. So can we just get started?
Yeah.
Ashwin, my first question would be, how did you get started with spirituality? Like, what was the turning point for you to get into the spirituality? Can you just explain me that?
So when I was beginning of my teenage, 13, 14, at the time our family underwent a lot of difficulties and our family did not have enough money to educate me. So we were planning what to do, how to go about my education and food because we were really struggling. At the time, we came about an organization who were giving free education, free food, and things like that. I don't want to name that organization, but let me explain. So then we decided, okay, this organization is good, let us put in there. And so I went to an organization for a big ashram. They provided me with food, education, roads, everything for free of cost. Then because it was an ashram and they were teaching me a lot of Upanishads and spirituality and so on and so on. So this is how my spiritual journey began. But actually, this is not my spiritual journey. The main journey began only when I turned within. So what happened at the age of 20, it was 1 year ago, I came across a woman. And I actually fell in love with her. So I was in a very good place, having a good food, good education, good clothes, money, actually going to have my own house. So I was actually in a very good place. I was a musician actually. I was playing flute, piano, and violin. I was traveling around the world and performing. But then the divine had other plans. The divine brought a woman in my life. Then I fell in love with her so deeply. So we planned, okay, I will come out from this ashram because if I'm in the ashram, I cannot love a girl. Goes against the rule. But I was deeply in love with her. I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay, I'm choosing you over everything. So if I have to be with her, I have to, in a way, sacrifice my career, my dreams, my music, my money, my home, everything. So, I'm very emotional and sensitive guy. So when it came to my woman, I was like, I'm ready to sacrifice the whole earth for you. So I sacrificed everything and came to her. You see, naturally, every relationship will go through ups and downs, lot of misunderstanding. We will not, but unfortunately, our relationship went through tremendous amount of misunderstanding. Lot of chaos within us and around us because I broke away from the ashram rules and regulations. A lot of headaches from them also, and she could not handle the headaches from them. And it was a pressure within us also and around us also. It was difficult to manage the relationship. Then he came to a point where he said, Ashwin, I don't want you anymore. You can get that part of it. My first lover left me. This incident broke me entirely, completely. I was forced to turn within because you see, when someone says to you, I will be there with your thick and thin, I will be there through a lot of difficulties, I will be there by your side. And when they leave you, you naturally question what is the reality, what is actually love, and things like that. In a way, she proved me that she will be there by my side. She will be there with me throughout. She proved through action. But even though she proved through her action, she left me. This separation actually turned me within. So 1 year ago, I was in a total disaster. I was like, what is going on? What is love? What is reality? I turned within actually. And lot of chaos and confusion within me. I started questioning the reality. Why this had happened? Why she came? I was actually in a good place. I shattered the dream and came to her now. She's also not there. That place is also not there. So I was in chaos, confused. Then what happened? I attempted to commit suicide. So I decided, okay, death is more kinder than life. I thought, let me end my life because I don't have my woman, I don't have money, dream, nothing. Let me commit suicide. So one day I wrote a letter telling that how my body should be buried and all that blah 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 stuff. And I cut my hand. This left hand. I don't know if you can see the cut. Can you see the
Yeah,
cut?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's visible. Yeah.
So I cut my hand telling enough with this life. I don't want to live anymore. I cut my. I was chanting Gayatri Mantra. That Om Bhur Bhuva Savitur Varenyam After cutting, I was chanting it because I love Devi so much. My favorite goddess is Durga. So I wrote a letter telling that this is how my body should be buried and don't do Indian ritual, bury me in Christian way and all those stuff. And I cut. I could feel the numbness that I'm about to die and things like that, but I did not die. I thought this is such a miracle. Devi saved me. I did not die and all the blah 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 stuff. But then next day I realized the cut was not deep enough to kill me. So the cut was only on surface level. It was not deep enough to actually kill me. So then I was still angry that I did not die. But you see, there was pain and there was the skin was clean. I could not cut again because committing suicide is a simple thing. It requires a lot of courage actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Then what happened? I took mud and sand and started putting in my hand, telling, "Let me have a disease." And you see, I did not get any disease. It means it was like a natural thing. Then later on, I started questioning the reality. I could not commit suicide because it takes a lot of courage. So I turned within and started questioning the reality. Why this had to happen? What is going on? Who am I truly? Who is the one who is suffering? All these questions I started asking within myself. Then I came across a book by Ramana Maharshi. I mean, he did not write. There was a book on him called Being As You Are or Be As You Are by David Godman, Ramana Maharshi book. So I started reading that. I read that book by Nisargadatta Maharaj. So all these people I started reading, and that is how I found out that there is something actually beyond me and the body. So later I realized that none of these things is true. So I turned within to question what is the reality, who am I, and who is the one who is experiencing all these things. Slowly when I started questioning it, like a flower blooming, like flower blooming, naturally wisdom dawned. Many people say realization comes like a strike, like a lightning strike, and within 1 second you'll attain consciousness and all those stuff. But my experience was totally different. My experience was like a flower bloom. Slowly, I started understanding the reality. Slowly, I understood what is going on. Now, I'm in a much greater place. This is how my journey began. I was taught so many things. At the end, I was forced to destroy all those things that I was taught. The truth in its very nature, if you speak about it, we have destroyed it. What I'm trying to mean is, it is like silence. You speak on silence, you've made a noise, you've destroyed. So to understand silence, what should one do? One should only turn the mind inward. That's why many people ask me, how do I find out the truth? How do I find this? I only tell them, see, turn your mind inward and search for its origin. You will understand on your own. Because understanding that comes from within is far greater than the understanding that I speak. So I insist people to turn their mind inward because reality can be understood only when the mind is turned inward. It cannot be understood by reading books, scriptures, following any guru, nothing will work. Because if a noise has to understand silence, it has to annihilate itself. A noise cannot understand silence by reading books on silence, by doing rituals on silence, by following rules about silence. A noise cannot understand. I can give one more example. The only way a river can know ocean is to merge in the ocean. If the river starts reading scriptures about ocean, if the river starts following some gurus about ocean, it cannot understand. The only way a river can know ocean is to merge. So when the mind merges into its own source, investigates and find out, then it comes to a conclusion. I am not the main character. There is something beyond me, and this can be true. This is how my entire journey began, and now I'm in far better place. Happy with it.
And how does life feel now?
Life feels very pleasant and in a way beautiful. See, there will always be ups and downs. The world is filled with duality. Enlightenment is not something that will annihilate your pain. Enlightenment is like a boat on the ocean. See, you have to cross the ocean, but enlightenment is like a boat which will help you cross the ocean in a far better place. But having a boat does not mean that waves will not come and hit you. Waves will come and hit you. Sometimes there'll be more, sometimes there'll be less. So waves will come. So life will have ups and downs, but enlightenment gives you the power to navigate through them and reach your destination.
Nice. Okay. My next question will be, it's overall a generic question. Like, how does our mind keeps us away from reality? Why does it creates an identity so-called seeker, and at the end the seeker gets suffered by its own creation? Why does the mind play all these games, and how does one come out of this seeker game out?
In reality, the mind's very nature is to see. You see, there is something called default mode network and things like that. In science, our mind's nature is to see and let us say I look at something, a tree. Mind does not like a blank thing. It immediately wants to find out what it is. When I look at a tree, mind fills it up saying it is a tree. When I look at a stone, mind fills it up by saying it is a stone. So mind in its very nature does not like a blank thing. So it immediately wants to find out what it is. And if it has to find out what it is, it has to have a person. It should create a center through which it understands the outside world. So it is not the flaw of mind, it is the nature of mind to create the seeker and to search for what it is. But unfortunately, the whole thing is when the mind gets convinced that I am the seeker, this is the whole game begins. You know, mind creates the seeker and mind believes I am the seeker. It is like a child who does not know what it is doing. The mind creates a seeker and then it seeks what it seeks. Ultimately, it understands that I am the seeker and I am the what seeking. So there is whole confusion happens in this mind. The only way to come out from the whole seeking is to find out the seeker. We have to use the mind to turn the mind inwards and find out where from the seeker comes. In my opinion, when I slowly started understanding what the seeker is, ultimately it's all the thought, ultimately it's all just emotions created by the mind again. Even after enlightenment or all those experience, what people say, the seeker will still be there because in order to interact with the world, you must have an understanding of yourself. The ego, which we all speak about, the ego will be there even after you're enlightened because without ego you cannot interact with this world. It's not possible. So what happens actually? What does real enlightenment and the seeker gets dissolved? What they say is when mind comes to understanding that I am just a tool to interact with this world and not a tool to create the world. You're understanding? See, this mind is basically to interact with the world, to understand the world and to move about in this world. But when the mind becomes an instrument to create the world, you see desires, attachments, and all this stuff, then we get into this whole maze of whole labyrinth. So we must use this mind to turn inward and find out what it is actually. See, we are all living in a world, we understand everything, but we have no idea about who we are. If the mind investigates itself and goes to the source and understands who it is in the first place, then it can understand the world better. But we are doing the opposite way. We are understanding the world to understand it. That is the wrong thing. First, you must understand the mind, then you must understand the world. That is the seeker will be there even after all the enlightenment, all the experience, because the ego is needed to interact with the world. If I have to tell in a very analogical way, what happens is like let's say a sculptor is sculpting Jesus statue. A sculptor is making a statue. What does she do? She does not make Jesus statue. She only removes all the stones, unwanted stones. So when all the unwanted stones are removed, what remains is Jesus. So in the same way, when mind searches for its own origin, all the unwanted notions, unwanted thoughts, unwanted desires, unwanted people, everything that is unwanted goes away. When all that unwanted thing goes away, what is left is divinity. That is all actually happens. We do not attain divinity. It's more dissolving all that is unwanted. And when unwanted things go, the mind naturally comes to its own origin and stays as it is. Then the seeker and all these things get dissolved in the process.
So, Ashwin, if I am a seeker now, I have just begin the spiritual path and I'm just doing the sadhana. So, what would be your suggestion for such sadhaks who have just started with spirituality and they are doing their sadhanas?
See, there are a lot of ways, lot of methods to do it, but ultimately, you do a sadhana, you read books, you climb Himalayan mountain, you dip in Ganga, you meet thousands of gurus. None of these things will bring actual liberation. Many people think that spirituality will give them liberation, or following a guru will give them liberation, or reading scriptures and doing rituals will give them liberation. That's not actually true. You see, all the spirituality rituals, they can give you a better birth, but liberation is not guaranteed by that. Liberation comes only when the mind turns inwards and finds out its origin. As I give you the example, this is a very beautiful example that I give to many people, which is a noise trying to understand silence can never understand silence. A noise trying to read scriptures on silence can never understand silence. It can have a theoretic knowledge, but if a noise has to understand, there is no silence. If there is silence, there is no noise. In the same way, all the people in the world can do lot of sadhana. There are thousands and thousands of sadhana. It's an endless thing, and people are more creating again and again on. If you want to understand the reality as it is, you must turn your mind inwards and investigate where from the mind comes. Because a noise purifying itself through sadhana can never understand silence. Let's say if a noise from a very negative sound, it became a more beautiful sound. Let's say it is singing devotional. Do you think a noise by singing devotional song will understand silence? No. Even devotion is an obstacle because Anything that this mind creates on its own is a very big part. Mind only when it uses the creation in order to go within and understand where from it is coming, then the actual reality is understood as it is, without interpretation, without distortion, without filtering. If the seeker wants to know the reality, then they have to turn within. If the seeker wants to know the versions about the reality, then they can turn out. Then there is no problem. But if you want to know the reality as it is, the seeker must go within, nowhere.
Actually, I also had a few questions, which were my personal question,
Yeah.
which I when saw your YouTube videos and listened to them. I just had few questions, but then I thought, let me be asking you this in person when we do a call like this. So my first question would be like, now we there is a person who has understood the reality. Now he has that practice of always going to up in his mind, that I am consciousness in such way. So in those things, he just has no consciousness on his body. So the one starts observing his thoughts. He just observes the thoughts. The thoughts drops. He does not take it into actions. Correct?
So you're asking me, should a person who understood the reality, will he do or will she do such a thing?
Yeah, because he has that practice of seeing his thoughts. Whenever a thought arises in his mind, he just observes his. There is no seeker. There is just the seeking. There is just the seeing. So the thought gets dropped. So now there are few basic thoughts or fundamental thoughts that comes into his mind, that I should make some money, I should build a life. After knowing the reality, if such thought comes into his mind, if he sees it in the same way as he sees the other thought and it gets just dropped, so then how can he build his life?
See, that is, see, you're saying the one who is witnessing, the one who, let me explain something very fundamental. We need not be conscious of the consciousness because consciousness in very nature is being conscious. Wanting to know the awareness or trying to be conscious of the consciousness is again a thought ultimately. It's not the actual truth. Like, I'm already alive, right? If I say I have to be alive, is just a thought. Whether I have a thought about aliveness or don't have a thought about aliveness. The actual truth is I'm alive. So in the same way, trying to be conscious of consciousness is again a thought in the head. It's not the actual truth. We are already conscious of whatever is happening. Nothing needs to be done. The reality and its very nature is pure. It is the substratum on which everything happens or everything appears to happen. But the one who is trying, who is saying, I must be aware of the awareness, is again a thought, is again a game of the mind or the ego. So, what having a thought that I must have a better life, I must be happy, I must earn money, these are all natural thoughts. But when the thought attack us in a way, when everything is centered around ego I, which we say I, then there is actual problem. Then there is he or she is not liberated. Because in my opinion, what is happening within me, things are happening. As you said, there is no speaker, there is only speaking. It is the actual truth, actually. There is no knower of the reality. There is only the knowing. There is no knower. There is only the knowing of the reality. Because you see, when the river merges into the ocean, it does not say, oh, I have become the ocean. There is no more river to say, I have become the ocean. There is only the ocean. In the same way, when a person understands the reality, there is only the reality. There is no person who understood the reality. So, having a thought like I must be happy or I must not be happy, these are all just thoughts ultimately. Even a person who has understood the reality can have these thoughts, including me. I have a thought that I must make my mom happy, I must make my family settle down because there are a lot of things. But there is one more understanding deep within me, which is I am very absolutely convinced that none of these things is me. These things happen, but they are not me. This is the understanding that will come. See, you will do everything. Let's say a football person or a soccer player understands the reality, he or she will continue to play the football, but with the understanding that he is not the player. It's like playing a video game. You play the video game with full interest, but you also know that you are not the player. That is what actually happens. You will continue to do everything with the understanding that I am not the doer. But again, you see, as you said, he has to be conscious of the consciousness. That is again an ignorance. That is again an obstacle. Because consciousness in its very nature is does one job, it's to be conscious. Wanting to be conscious of consciousness is again a thought and not the actual truth.
So the thought still exists, but the attachment towards the thought does not exist. There is no I which gets attached to the thought.
Yeah, there is no I which takes the credit. Thoughts happen. Thoughts will happen, but there is not a person in the person who has understood the reality which says these thoughts are mine. He or she does not say thoughts happen. They also eat, they also dance, they also have fun, but They know that none of these things is me, like a noise and silence. Silence on silence is where noise exists. Noise could sing a beautiful song, or noise could sing a very dirty song, but the silence knows I am not the noise. Like the better example will be electricity and bulb. You see, bulb will change its color to yellow, red, green, orange, and things like that. But the electricity does not do anything. Electricity just stays beyond the bulb. It is the bulb's nature to do certain things. So, you see, every one of us are born with certain characteristics. Guna, as they call it. So everybody is having certain characteristics. My characteristic is, I play guitar, I play piano, and I do that and do this. Somebody's characteristics is like they want to paint or they want to create music and things like that. So everybody has characteristics at the end. Even after knowing the reality, the characteristics will continue because as long as you have body and mind, you have characteristics. But the only thing is the attitude. Attitude will change. You will know that yes, I have this, but I am not this. It's like I have a water bottle, but I am not the water bottle. This is the attitude that you'll have once you understand the reality. You will do everything normally, but you will also know that none of these things will happen. You will not put any effort to do anything. Effort will become effort.
So I heard one thing that many people say first you build the life and then you start knowing the reality. But in few cases, there the person first just get to know the reality and then he has to build his life. So what are your thoughts on this?
You can do whatever you want. People say first you must have money, then enjoy. People say enjoy, then get money. So this is like, according to people, however they want, they can do. See, my only thing is, whatever may you do in this world belongs only to this world. But if you want to go beyond the world, then you must turn within. Whether you understand the reality or do not understand the reality, both this understanding is done by the mind. So this is not the main center or the main source. Whether you build your life or don't build your life, it's up to you. People have their opinion. Some people say I must fall in love when I have settled down in life. But some people say if a woman loves me only if I'm settled down in my life, it's no love at all. So there are a lot of contradiction people keep doing. Ultimately, it's up to them. You want to build a life, then you want to build reality, so be it. You want to build a reality, then you want to build life, so be it. But in my opinion, first we must do the know the reality because we may achieve thousands of degrees in life. Ultimately, none of them will come to you at the end. You may make thousands of views, ultimately none of them will come and tell you that because that is bound to happen. Whatever you do in this world will perish today. See, Jesus himself was tempted when he was who are these so the whole truth is to understand the reality. You do whatever you want, but understanding the reality is very fundamental thing because if you do not know the reality, you are all only fooling yourself. The reality is more important than the world. The world will change. The reality does not.
I have also heard to this Carl Jung lectures in
What
Carl
is it?
Jung, Carl
Um,
Jung. Yeah, yeah. He also talks about the end of the seeking seeker, like J. Krishnamurti talks. Okay, in that he explains how one gets so disturbed and so he's not in a comfortable position to live in the society once he knows the reality.
In a way, that is true because those people who know, who are understanding the reality of those people who are following spirituality, and generally, usually in very silent, they prefer peace, they prefer less of noise, and they don't prefer the chaos of the world. But the world prefers noise, chaos, and fun and joy and things like that. So there's always conflict between spiritual and non-spiritual people. This is the duality of the world and it will always be there. Even me, I have people who will look at me and say, you're so stupid, you're so foolish, what is the reality and all this. There are people who say at this stage you got such a beautiful wisdom. Please keep sharing. There are people who appreciate me and there are people who condemn me. And I'm very clear that in the future I will also have haters, I will also have likers. That is the nature of this world. This world is filled with duality. We have to accept the duality of the world. And those people who really understood the reality are like the flower. You go tell a flower you are beautiful, flower doesn't care. You go tell a flower you are ugly, still flower doesn't care. Flower just blooms. So that is how even I live. I just really don't bother when people say you are good. I really don't bother when people say you are bad. Like Jay Krishna, he said, no, his secret is he really doesn't care what is that. He doesn't mind. That is the attitude. You must not mind. You see, those people who mind, don't bother. Those people who bother, don't mind. Who needs to come your path will naturally come. Who needs to leave your path will go. Ultimately, it's God like that. Ultimately, everybody wants to be happy. How does it matter if people look at your life and say they are good or bad? That's all people's opinions, I think. These are people's words and judgment. If people are judging you, that speaks a lot about them. If somebody comes and tells you you are doing good, it speaks about his or her nature. It has got nothing to do with you. If somebody comes and tells you you are doing bad, it speaks a lot about that person's nature. In a way, people are revealing about themselves to us. We must be grateful that oh, you are, I understand you're good or bad. Ultimately, it's all people's life. It's all your life, my life, and her life, and his life, and things like that. It's important to understand that the world will have you, but we must only navigate and go for each other.
Ashwin, is there something that you want to tell as a guru mantra for those who are just on this path? That one simple formula that you want to give.
I don't know. See, first of all, this is a nice platform. I want to share something. First of all, I'm not a guru. I'm not a master and things like that. To me, this knowledge is such a simple thing. Let me say something. Let me give you an example. Let us say we are all lions. We are not human beings. Bro. You are a lion. I'm a lion, and she's a lioness, and they are a lion. Let's say every human being on this planet is a lion. So all you people have understood. Let's say I have understood that I'm a lion, or God that I understood I'm a lion. So the rest all the people in this world are yet to understand that they are lying. I'm not saying they won't understand. They are yet to understand that they are lying. See, if I go tell them, I'm a guru, I will give you mantra to become a lion or understand lion. It is very silly to me. The whole reality is we are all already lying. The only thing is I have understood, you are yet to understand. That's the only difference. So the only I am not a guru or a master of science. Sharing my wisdom, that's my nature. Even in the future, I have no interest in running a foundation or an ashram or building a trust or building gurus, Vidya Parampara and things like that. I have no interest at all. There are 2 points which I want to convey here. Which is point number one. See, the world which has killed Jesus, I really don't want to do anything in the world. If God itself was not spared, who am I? I'm no one. The world which killed Jesus, what agenda do I have to do something for the world? This is the first point. I'm not interested in anything for this. Second point is this character has come into the world. So this character has certain role to play. And that's all the character is doing. And I have no personal interest where I have to speak, I have to become a philosopher. People should know me and I must be a great philosopher or a great guru. I must show life to people. I have no feelings like I'm just speaking because I love to speak. Like an artist who paints because he loves to paint. He does not paint because the world should know I'm a painter. So I'm speaking because I love to speak and share my wisdom. In the future, if the divinity decides to put me as a leader, if the divinity decides to put me as a leader of a foundation or an ashram or a trust, then so be it. But personally, I have no agenda. The only thing is, if the divinity decides to use you, even your blood and bones will do the work, even if you don't want. If the divinity decides not to use you, even if you bleed, it will not use you. That's the way. So I've left everything to the divine. If the divine wants to use me as a guru or an ashram or wants me to build foundation, so be. But personally, I'm not interested in all this. Even in the future, I'm not going to involve in all these things unless and until the divinity really decides to use me as whatever it wants. So the only mantra that I can give to people is please turn your mind inward. That's all. If I give a method, then I have destroyed. If I tell what to do and what not to do, I have distorted your reality. I have already created a more illusion to you. It's like a lion going and telling a lion, I will give you 7 steps to become a lion. That's so foolish. If I go tell a lion, I will give you 10 steps to understand that you are a lion, it's very silly. You're already a lion. Just understand that the notion that you are having is just thought. When people turn the mind inwards, that's when people will understand reality. People will not understand reality by following me, by following someone, by following rituals or doing anything. The only thing I'll tell people is turn your mind inward and find the reality for it.
Yes, I think that's it from my side. Do you have something to add more to this conversation?
Mm. Nothing. I will just encourage you to make more. Speaking, sharing, who wants to hear will hear. Who do not hear will not hear. End of the story. Ultimately, I want you also to share this, connect with a lot of people and share and make one thing very clear. Be honest. Because we do not want a distorted reality. We want to share the reality actually as it is. So when you're sharing, share the actual truth to people and meet with people who speak, who wants to share the wisdom. There are people. who wants to show off that they know the truth. And there are people who want to be in podcasts and things like that. So I encourage you to choose certain individuals who are selfless, who want to share the news, and then share the knowledge with them. Everybody needs to do their part. You do your part, I do my part. If everybody does their part, the whole world will be in a beautiful place. It is because people don't do their part, then there's conflict. So this is all my thing for you personally. It's a very beautiful thing that you have got this selfless thought to share this knowledge with everyone. Make a podcast about everybody can understand. Very beautiful start that you have given. And I wish you best in this part. Don't give up, man. Just keep going. That's all it is.
Yes.
There will be time where you will say this is waste of time, will stop it. Simply keep going. You may run out of content. You may say, now, just go make a podcast with your mother and say, like how much we are struggling. Make a podcast with your sister, brother. Make a podcast with your neighbor. There will be an incident where they will tell something so beautiful that it will touch someone else. So podcast is a endless thing. You can keep making podcasts and share with people. Meet all kinds of people, not only spiritual beings or spiritual people. Meet all people who walk different paths. And their wisdom is very important. Keep sharing. Sorry.
Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation and sharing so openly and honestly. I really appreciate your time and presence today. This has been a very meaningful for me personally.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. Because this is my first podcast. Nobody has done this. So you'll be the first one. And I can mention even in the future that my first podcast is this channel. Please go watch.
Sure, sure, Ashwin.